And a really useful question to consider right now is, man, am I talking about what I do and the impact I create in a way that's as powerful as it actually is? And the sad reality for most advisors is like, the answer is no, they're not.
Welcome to the Advisor Edge, where planning first financial advisors build brands that stand out, move up market, and make a bigger difference. I'm Rob Thomas, one of the leaders here with Possibility. In today's episode, Chris Smith will show you how to craft a 7-word statement that turns casual interest into can't-miss conversations. What you're about to hear is an unfiltered segment from our live Advisor Edge training, pulled straight from the room and ready for you to implement. Here's Chris.
This was an idea actually that Rob created. He's like, man, we serve advisors all over. We should start an incredible series and go live called the Advisor Edge, a Possibility live experience. And so really quick background, I was a financial advisor over 10 years ago, had some success helping we were an RIA focused on, wealth management, AUM. We then merged with an insurance planning firm. So I got this really unique experience and background in being able to see kind of both sides of the industry from a protection insurance side, also from like an AUM fee-based financial planning. And I was able to implement some ideas there and some strategies that allowed that firm to, within 2 years, we were bringing in as many assets under management in a month as we'd ever done historically in the history of the firm in a year. So that actually is the thing that inspired me to say, I think I want to serve more advisors, and made the decision to actually get out of the industry as an advisor and instead become a coach and consultant to the industry. And we've been doing that for 10 years. And so we coach and consult hundreds of advisors and wealth management firms every year. We love this space. We love the industry. I just got back yesterday from an event in Austin. I was speaking out there for an RIA who's a client of ours. We had a number of clients in the audience. Sal, who's our head growth leader here at the Possibility Company, he was at an event an industry event this week. We love this industry. We serve this industry, and our intention is to just pour into the industry and allow this, community to continue to grow. And so, one of the things that we often talk about is the 2 most powerful tools that you have as an advisor, based on our experience, again, of coaching and consulting advisors all over the country. And I would also say advisors of all different types. So we have advisors who are just getting started in the industry. And right now we have a firm that we serve that's $7 billion in AUM and everything in between. We have advisors who are new to the insurance space, and we have an advisor right now that's going to write probably $10 million in premium this year. So it's like, again, this really vast experience. And so regardless of what type of advisor you are or where you're at in your business, the 2 most powerful tools that you have are what we refer to as leadership and language. That's it. Like, that's really all you have to differentiate yourself and stand out is leadership and language. Leadership, who you're being. Language, what is it you say? And one of the things that we often talk about is, advisors give advice and advice informs, but leaders provide leadership and leadership transforms. And it's our opinion that we don't believe that what this industry needs is a lot more advisors out giving advice. We believe that what this industry needs is leaders who are committed to providing leadership, who are willing to show up as bold, authentic, committed leaders. And so it's like so how do you do that, right? How do you start to show up as a leader and be seen as a leader, not just an advisor? How do you provide that leadership instead of just, providing advice? And look, there's nothing wrong with advice. It's just that advice has you really only be seen as a commodity. And so we often say with this idea of advisors versus leaders, like, to be able to make the choice, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be seen as an advisor or do you want to be seen as a leader? And then another thought that's interesting is really even more, which one do you think your clients are looking for? Do you think like clients, are they looking for advisors who can provide advice, or are they looking for leaders who can really provide leadership? And one of the things that we often talk about is advisors are great, but an advisor is often going to only talk to you about what they get paid to talk to you about. Whereas a leader is going to provide leadership to you in all the areas that are important to you, whether they get paid to or not. And they know that, like, hey, I truly actually get paid to talk to you about this one thing, but I'm going to show up for you like a leader because I'm committed to you. And I want to add more value to you in your life. And so, why do we believe this is more important now than ever? I believe this is the greatest time in the history of the industry to be an advisor. And I actually believe it's the most important time in the history of the world to be in this industry because we believe the world is starving for leadership. There's just an absolute void of leadership in so many places. And people are so hungry for leadership and they're so hungry for answers and for clarity. The other reason is you have the largest wealth transfer in the history of the world that's taking place right now. And then I don't think this will ever happen again. And then third, you have greater uncertainty. Like most people that we talk to, it's like, yeah, there's never been this much uncertainty, not necessarily in the history of the world, but in my lifetime. So most people in their lifetime, they're like, yeah, there's never been greater uncertainty in the world than there is today in my life. The largest wealth transfer in the history of the world is taking place, and the world is starving for leadership. You add those three things together, there's a profound opportunity to go out and create clients and serve people in a way that's just unprecedented. You have more people today open to a second opinion, and you have more people open today to actually switching advisors than ever has been, according to the research. So what that says to me is, man, like, I don't want to be in a position right now where I'm sitting around waiting for it to happen. Like, how can I, through leadership and language, how can I go make it happen? Because the reality is, one of the things we often talk about is you are not a commodity. You were not designed to blend in, to like look and sound like everyone else and kind of be invisible. So what we found is that most advisors are not commodities, but their language is. Their language is the thing that's commoditized, not them. And the sad reality is we come across advisors all the time when we get to know them, when we start, like Sal starts coaching them and we uncover their story. It's like, oh my gosh, like, you're incredible. You have a story that like really matters. You have a story that's worth sharing. You have a story that would really impact people if we could just simply help you share it. And one of the things that we often talk about at the Possibility Company is this idea of being preeminent, which is the exact opposite of commoditization. So to be preeminent means that you are very distinguished in some way and that you've surpassed all others. And it comes from a Latin word, pre-eminere. Pre means before and eminere means to stand out. So when you're preeminent, you just stand out before everyone else. And that's what we want for advisors. We want you to be preeminent. We don't want you to be the best kept secret. We don't want you to be we don't want you to blend in and look like everyone else. And so it's like, how do you become preeminent? And our experience is you become preeminent through leadership and language. You have to start to talk about what you do in a way that's as powerful as what you actually do. So think about that for a second. Think about the gap between what you do and how you talk about what you do. And a really useful question to consider right now is, man, am I talking about what I do and the impact I create in a way that's as powerful as it actually is? And the sad reality for most advisors is like, the answer is no, they're not. And so I just want to take you through a really short exercise today, just something that you could walk away from that would be actionable, that you could use, because there's so many things we could talk about, but we want to keep these calls really brief, to the point, give you something that's actionable that you can go implement in your very next conversation. And we kind of refer to as what we call like the 7 words. Some of these you're actually going to see don't count because they're 8 words, but we should say 7 to 8 words. And it's basically the who, what, and how. Who do you serve? What do you do for them? And how do you do it? Another way of thinking about this is this could be like someone asks you, like, what do you do? Which for a lot of advisors is kind of a dreaded question because they don't feel like they've ever been able to answer that question in a way that's profound, that actually stands out. And so I'm going to give you a couple different ways to think about how you answer the question, what do you do? So that you can say it in a way that actually might have people lean in, that might have people actually want to know more about what you do, to ask additional questions. Another thing about this is I think most advisors, they go one of two extremes. When someone asks them what they do, they're either worried about saying too much, so they just say something like, I'm a financial advisor. So that's one extreme. The other extreme sometimes that they go to is they'll make it really complex and really complicated and lose people. So we don't want to do either one of those. Like, you don't want to try to do too much with it. You also don't want to do too little with it. And when someone asks you what you do, you don't need to have this pressure of like, I've got to say something so profound and so perfect that they want to become a client. You're just trying to buy the next 10 seconds of the conversation. You're trying to say something that keeps the conversation going. That's it. So the first thing I want to say is like, let's just take a lot of the pressure off of this. It doesn't need to be remarkable. It doesn't need to convince them that you have something to offer. When someone says, what do? You only have to say something that gets them to want to continue the conversation. And if you do that, then this has done its job. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example of what this might look like. So someone could come to me and say, hey, Chris, what do you do? It's like, we help advisors build brands that stand out, right? 8 words. Hey, Chris, what do you do? We help advisors grow their income and their impact. Hey, Chris, what do you do? We help advisors differentiate themselves through leadership. So it's like, who's it for? What do you do? And how? Like, how does it impact them? Hey, Chris, what do you do? We help advisors move up market through more bold language. Hey, Chris, what do you do? We help advisors grow their income by being different. And I know this can be like, it's like, man, and here's what I love about it though. It's a forcing function. This exercise is a forcing function because it also has to be like, who? That in and of itself is worth this exercise. Because the challenge of saying like, hey, Chris, what do you do? I help people. People's really broad. And I'll never forget, we had a woman one time who's not an advisor. She came to I used to put on these storytelling workshops that were kind of open to anyone, not just financial advisors. She came to this 2-day storytelling workshop. She came in at the beginning of the workshop with this 7-word exercise. She came in saying, I help people. And by the end, she was saying, I help full-time working first-time moms. Well, like, I help people. It's like, no one even knows how to relate to her. I don't know who to introduce her to. And the minute she's like, I help full-time working first-time moms, which I know is a little bit long, but the specificity of that. And what was crazy is my sister-in-law was that. I had a sister-in-law who was a full-time working first-time mom. And I was like, oh, you should talk to my sister-in-law. Well, this woman was with us for an entire day and I had no clue who to refer her to. And the very first time we helped her get some clarity. So it's like, who are we actually looking for? What is it we're going to help them with? And then how does that impact them? So I'd actually love to role play with some of this, and I'm pretty decent at this. If some of you want to engage with me, I could actually help you craft yours. But I'd love to have some of you actually like take a shot at this or share with us if you've done some work around this. I'd love to help you further clarify it. Anyone willing to, Dave, Gail, or Jennifer, or Brian, anyone of you willing to kind of take a shot at it and share with us? Yeah, let's go, Brian.
So do you want me to ask you the question, or are you asking me the question?
Yeah, no. So yeah, let's. I'm asking you, what do you do? And based on the frame, and we'll work on it. Respond.
Let's say I help mortgage brokers live a life of freedom by simplifying their money decisions.
Awesome. Just taking some notes. I love the specificity of mortgage brokers. I help mortgage brokers live a life of freedom
by simplifying their money decisions.
Perfect. Just writing it down.
Like our company, Financial Architects, our theme is helping people live a life of freedom by simplifying their money decisions. But like I'm part of Financial Architects, but I've chosen this market to serve. Yeah. So I've just made it more specific on like the people I help live a life of freedom.
Yeah. And I think it's really brilliant. And you and I have talked about this before, Brian, like, man, the idea of becoming known for something is really profound to me. Like, I want to be known for something.
Yeah.
It is incredibly difficult to become known for something if it's for a lot of people. It's hard enough to become known for something to a group of people. So those two things go hand in hand for what it's worth, you all. Like, your likelihood of becoming known for something goes up dramatically when you know who you want to become known for it to. But this who question is massive in all of this. So I help mortgage brokers. Now, another thing, Brian, to look at in this, sometimes the language we speak around a life of freedom, we know what that means, but oftentimes they don't. And we know how that impacts them, but sometimes they don't. So I also want to give you a couple of versions of like what I call, how can we make it maybe a little bit more street level language?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's better. Like you might say this and dude, here's the other thing. I don't care if you say, I help mortgage brokers experience pure bliss. Dude, if that's what gets them to want to talk to you more, use that. Again, I think we try to make these statements way too much. The only thing that I'm trying to do when someone says, what do you do? Is I'm trying to say something that has us stay in the conversation. Here's what I'm avoiding. If someone says, what do you do? And I tell them and they go, oh, neat.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Dude, Those we don't want those two. The nice or the neat, dude, we're dead. We might as well just like, all right, see. Or oh, cool. Like, so Brian, what's a pain point for a lot of these mortgage brokers that you solve?
Cash flow is a big one. Having a variable income, unpredictable,
Okay,
that's a cash flow,
dude,
bro.
do you think with your planning and your expertise, can you help them create a little more predictability?
That's actually like the foundation of that's how I serve this market.
Check this one out. Hey, Brian, what do? I help mortgage brokers create way more predictability in their income.
Whoa.
It's like, I don't even know what the hell life of freedom means. And I'm not taking a shot at you on that. Like, I know you know that. I know you believe that, and you know what that means. You know that freedom is on the other side of, and here's another thing. We sometimes forget that the thing that we're selling, the big picture, that's on the other side of the thing they actually want to know about. The life of freedom is on the other side of more predictable income.
Whoa. That's crazy.
And did you notice how I said it, Brian? Did you get the feeling I said that like I kind of don't believe it? Or did you get the feeling I said that like, yeah, that's what I do?
No, you meant it. Yeah. And you don't even know how.
What do you do? I help mortgage brokers create way more predictable income. I help mortgage brokers create way more predictable. And listen how I say this, way more. Like, these are these fine-tuning, like, ninja skills that I want to teach everyone, like intonation and inflection and like way of being. And, you one thing at a time, we got to get the words right first. I can't not do it anymore. It's like, hey, what do? I help mortgage brokers create way more predictability in their income. That's going to buy me more time in a conversation with a mortgage broker. And if it doesn't, then fine. Like,
so, you've told me before, I've heard you say on other group calls, like, not to answer the question. But like, if somebody asks you, oh, how do you do that? Do you answer that question?
Or no? So I love this. So I'm going to give you guys a bonus today. I'm going to teach you another way to answer the question, what do you do? So you have two really powerful ones you can experiment with. The worst thing that we can do, Brian, and look, advisors make this mistake all the time too in discovery calls. We'll be doing discovery with someone for the very first time, getting to know them. We'll ask them what their challenge is. They'll tell us what it is. And then what's the biggest mistake we could make while we're in discovery as an advisor? Someone just told us their challenge. What are we so tempted to do all the time as advisors in discovery meetings?
Give them the answer.
We start solving the problem. Yeah, it's like, no, do not do that. Keep doing discovery. They'll recognize for themselves, trust me, that you are the solution. But same thing in a what you do conversation. I don't want to jump too quickly to it when someone goes, hey, what do you do? It's like, well, I show mortgage brokers how to create way more predictability in their income. How do you do that? Through a lot of things, but like, tell me more about tell me how long you've been in mortgage business. Dude, I put it right back to them. And no one ever fights me on it because people want to talk about themselves. Dude, you asked me what I did. I told you something. It kept the conversation going. Check, done. I'm done talking about what I do now. Now we're about you. But again, we think that when people ask us what do we do, well, they're asking me because it's now my turn to tell them what I do. No, it's your turn to say something that keeps the conversation going. Then I get curious about you. So someone goes, well, how do you do that? And again, I'm not just going to disregard it. It's like, oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways we do it, but truly, I can tell you about that like all day long. And tell me what you do. Like, how long you been in the mortgage business? And dude, they'll go there with you, and then you get curious, and then you're like. Then at some point you're like, man, based on everything you're saying, I actually think I could show you some things that would be useful. We ought to set up a meeting and just chat further. And I just landed a discovery meeting.
I love that. I really do. And I'm thinking about now I'm going to really think about making it like my my title on LinkedIn, because I have helped mortgage brokers live a life of freedom, but now you made me want to switch it with that. You think so, Rob? Yeah,
because it's just like, but again, and dude, I'm so guilty of this all the time, Brian. And one of the things I don't think we question enough is like, is this how they would say it? Because a lot of times I say things that it's like from the perspective I have, but that's not their perspective. I'm like, I know way too much oftentimes about my own industry. So it's like, I have to really do the work to be like, how would they say it? How would they want to hear it? They don't really know what a life of, even like differentiation. I used to say a lot, well, we help advisors differentiate themselves. And I think they kind of know what that means. But when I go, we help advisors build a brand that stands out so they can make more money. It's like we show advisors how to dramatically increase their income and impact. The mechanism is, and the way we do that is by helping them be different and stand out. So sometimes we're trying to reveal the mechanism too much in our what we do, which they don't care about. We're also trying to reveal the end goal of life of freedom, which they don't really care about. What they care about is like, do you have something that could benefit me right now? The mechanism isn't how you benefit me right now. The long, big picture vision isn't how you impact me right now. How you impact me right now is like, tell me what you do that gives like a quick win that I can wrap my mind around. A variation of this, another way that I love answering the question, what do you do? That's just a slight variation, is you frame it in their pain and frustration. So it's like, hey, Brian, what do you do? Well, man, I often work with mortgage brokers who probably one of their biggest stressors is the lack of predictability in their income. And I just stop. I didn't tell you anything what I do. I revealed to you the biggest pain point. But what do you think is the likelihood if you said that to a mortgage broker, he or she's going to go, that you just described to me?
Yeah.
Think of the power of having someone feel seen in like 30 seconds where they're like, wait, you get me? I don't even know who you are. So you just take what you do and you frame it in a pain point. So I could take any one of those examples I just gave earlier, like, for example, an advisor. Hey, what do you do? Well, man, we often work with these incredible advisors that they're amazing, but they've just never really built a brand. And so they kind of feel like they're the best kept secret and they just, feel invisible. Or, man, we often work with these incredible advisors who know they have so much more to offer, but they just feel like they're the best kept secret, man. Or, man, we often work with these incredible advisors who know that they're amazing, but they're just like confused as like, why am I not creating more income and more impact when I'm this good? Any one of those would likely have a lot of advisors be like, oh man, I can relate to that. Like, that's me. And then you go, man, tell me more about that. I just get into discovery,
Love that.
Okay. Anyone else? I know we only have a few minutes left here, but anyone else have one they want to run by me, and or just, was there any questions or thoughts that occurred just kind of as I did that with Brian a little bit? Dave, what do you got for me, man?
Yeah. So Chris, I was just running through the exercise like a couple of days ago, and we're known for helping small business owners harvest wealth from their business to build a life that's significant personally. And we do it faster and with less effort. But I'm trying to figure out how to make that shorter.
Yeah. So I'll just share a rapid fire couple on you that I hear in that, Dave. It's like, hey, what do you do? Oh, dude, I show small business owners how to extract a lot more money out of their business for them personally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what you're saying. We're just taking a long time to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, dude, I can show a small business owner how to extract way more money out of their business than they're probably currently, taking out, so that they can also benefit from personally.
Yeah, it's kind of wordy the way I was saying it, so I kind of stumble.
Well, and look, you use the word harvest.
Yeah,
that's a really common term, but it's only common if you're in the industry. But again, that's a little bit of this disconnect. And look, I fall victim to it all the time, Dave. I'll speak the way we speak here at the Possibility Co.
Yeah.
But that's not how they speak. And when I say they, whoever we're serving. And dude, if there's anything that any of us could ever remember, you're never selling to you. But that's how we talk. We talk a lot of times like we're selling to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And if I can remember that, it's like, dude, I got to sell to this guy. I got to sell to this small business owner here who owns an HVAC company, who's like, probably half the time is like lying awake at night questioning like, what the hell am I even doing? Is this even worth it? And I can't get any money out of my business. That's the guy I'm talking to. You know what I mean? So when he goes, what do you do? It's like, I show small business owners who have worked, and you could build this up a little bit. I show small business owners who have like, man, they've sacrificed so much and poured so much in their small business. And I show them how to actually get money out of it for them personally so that they feel like it's worth it.
So my next question, Chris, is small business owner too broad?
It's better than just businesses. It's better than just I help people. Is there some niches you serve, Dave? Or is it like small business owners with this many employees or fewer? Like, how could we get a little more specific that actually is true to what you do?
Yeah. So really dialing into the family-owned business and
Perfect.
Helping them transfer or sell their business.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do? Man, I help family-owned businesses really understand how to maximize the value of their business, or I help family-owned businesses sell their business in a way that's really profitable for them and allows them to benefit personally.
Yeah.
And then if we flip it to the pain one, like I did with Brian, it's like, hey, Dave, what do you do? It's like, oh, dude, I get to work with these incredible family-owned small businesses who've poured their heart and souls into the business, but they're frustrated because they just personally aren't benefiting as much as they could, and I believe they deserve to. And if you meet many small family-owned small business owners, they'll be like, damn, Dave, you just described me. How'd you know? It's like,
Yeah.
or, I often work with these really incredible family-owned businesses who just poured their heart and soul in their business, but now they're worried, like, can I actually get the value from all these years of sacrifice and effort I put in?
Yeah.
Is this thing, can I ever even sell this thing or figure out a way to get some value out of it for me personally?
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, dude, thanks for I hope this was helpful.
Super helpful.
I think if anything, it's just a reminder to me of like, yeah, we really, really have to do the work to get over there on their side of the table and like really say it, the way they would say it. And so again, my whole goal behind all of this is to help you stand out. That's the whole thing behind this. Like, how can we do these live trainings, give you these bite-sized, actionable strategies that you can go put into practice immediately to stand out from the crowd, not be a commodity, not be the best kept secret. I know some of you already know us. I know some of you already talked with us. If you haven't and you want to talk further, we could actually get to your specific situation, dive into your specific business, give you some more tailored like ideas around how you can talk about what you do. We love doing this. This is all we do. We serve advisors all day, every day, and just, appreciate you guys joining us for our first ever Advisor Edge series. And just appreciate you guys getting on.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Advisor Edge. Thank you for tuning in. Grab the free resources linked down in the show notes. If today's episode gave you some insights on how to differentiate, we'd love for you to drop a comment with your biggest takeaway. Until next time, keep building brands that stand out.